Hello, this is Ashley Johnson, and this is my multimodal project on the Churchill Tunnel. The Churchill Tunnel was erected in 1873. It was created by white male engineers and African American workmen. The white male engineers were most likely former Confederate soldiers, while the African American workers were most likely former slaves. What kind of work environment do you think this sets for this era? During the construction of the Churchill Tunnel, many workers died, but this was common for the time period. However, 61 years earlier, there was a fire in the theater, killing 71 people. Where the theater once stood now stands a church called the Monument Church. Whose death is worth more, those of workmen or those of civilians? What kind of life are we trying to remember? That of recreational or that of hard labor? The Churchill Tunnel collapsed in 1925, killing 2 white men and an unknown number of African American workers. There were rescue efforts, an attempt to find all those buried in the tunnel, but only a white man was retrieved. His name was Thomas Joseph Mason, a white engineer. The locomotive cost too much to get out, more than it's worth. And so an unknown number of black workers and a locomotive are still in the tunnel today. Today the tunnel is sealed up, and on the plaque it says 1926, the date of its seal. The tunnel was abandoned for 50 years. But in 2007 there was gentrification around the area of the tunnel. New buildings were created, and the tunnel was cleaned up. The tunnel was primarily cleaned up in 2000 by a civilian call trying to remember all of those who passed away in the tunnel. It wasn't until the year 2000 that the Richmond Times-Dispatch had in its paper a memoriam for one of the black workers, Mr. Lewis, who was one of the workers who died in the tunnel. Many years have passed, and now the tunnel rests out of the public's reach, behind a gate. The tunnel's just about here. And now is on the grounds of a loft, an apartment style kind of commodities. There's only one historical sign that marks its existence. The historical sign wasn't placed there until 2007. The lofts were created, or began to be created, in 2007. Therefore, its historical significance has not been around as long as its commercial existence. Here's a panoramic view of the tunnel currently. Here is a pool of the residents, and in the back is the tunnel. What a place to be laid to rest. Why exclude the public from a historic place? What good does it do to anyone? Is it an attempt to remember or an attempt to forget? There are historians who want to remember the Churchill Tunnel. The residents of Churchill are afraid of another cave-in. This is a picture I took after visiting the tunnel, or during visiting the tunnel. An odd placement for a cleaning pet area, so close to those at rest. Here is looking down at from the top of the tunnel into the apartment loft complex. There are picnic tables and umbrellas at the bottom, and grills that you'd find in a park. Are those who lay here really laid to rest? Are they really remembered? Why would we build an entire church to just 76? What race were they most likely? Why don't we remember the unknown? There was a soldier standing outside of the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier daily, 24/7. Why don't we remember those who are also lost? Or are they just here to also be forgotten? Thank you for watching. I hope that maybe you've gone